Hello and welcome to the Jess Strom Show for January 31st, 2017. I'm your host, Gary Smith. And on today's show, we're going to have some fun with Coach Strom's assistants, and then we're going to look at highlights of Clarion and Edinburgh, look at the standings, upcoming schedule, and all that fun stuff as the calendar is getting set to turn over to February, which is hard to believe. But without further ado, we're going to turn the show over to Kelly and Kate. If you guys want to introduce yourselves to everybody back at home.
Go ahead, Cal.
Oh, thanks. Kelly Sabo, assistant coach, Cal U Women's Basketball.
I'm Katie Tetzlaw. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I think, what is this, our year?
We came in with Mickey and Presh.
Yeah, so our fourth year.
Fourth year.
And honestly, we should have been filming a little earlier, having some fun on the set beforehand. But it's always great having both of you on the set. And this season, we start with the football coaches show, and we're going to continue doing it, putting online. So there might be people watching at home that may have never seen the show before. So we're going to cover some older ground by tracing back how both of you got to be on the bench at Cal U. So we'll start with you, since you're to my left.
Well, Cal U, I came 4 years ago, so this is my fourth season right now. And I actually, after I graduated college, I went right into teaching, and I was an assistant coach at Still Valley basketball for 1 year. My head coach then decided to go to coach the men's team, so I took over the women's team, and I was there for about, I believe, 10 or 11 years. So I was at Still Valley for about 12 years. And, I was just ready to go to the next level, and just so happened the GA position was open here. So Coach Jess Strom, I contacted her, and she got back to me, and I was lucky enough to get that position, and then I've been here ever since.
It's been very successful ever since.
We've had a great 4 years.
I went the collegiate route right after school. I went to Bethany, and I then was on as a GA, and then went to two different places as an assistant coach, both at Division III level, Allegheny College and W&J College, and then was a head coach at Division III for 2 years at Keystone, and then moved up the ladder to Division II with rival Slippery Rock. I was there for a year, and then there was an opening here, so really happy to say that I'm a Vulcan.
Well, believe me, red and black looks much better than green and white.
It's just tougher.
And, we have a nickname. It's not like the Rock, and then there's a lion, and there's a whole... I need a couple drinks in me to tell the story of the line that happened to me when I was in grad school. So we'll just continue on with our show. But like I said, that was just since we're putting it online, there might be some fans out in Arizona or Bangladesh. We actually had a chat message from a person watching one of the games from Bangladesh. So I don't know what was going on.
Wow.
And I'm trying to direct the game, and I'm like trying to find out why or what's going on or what the connection, but never got to that. So, but obviously, a lot of success with your team for the past couple years. Obviously, it's a team effort. But just for the people at home that may not know, they see, at the games, they see both of you on the bench, see Coach Strom. But what happens a typical week of practice? What are some of your responsibilities?
Well, practice, we usually have, it's really nice now because we have games Wednesday and Saturday. So we have two days usually to prepare for the team, watch film for 2 days, go over a lot of sets. Coach Jess does a nice job of breaking down their sets into, 3-on-3s, 2-on-2s. So then when we put it together and run the full play, the kids are really prepared and know what they're doing. So we usually get about 2 days for each team and then go into the game. So it's a quick turnaround, but it's nice to have your Wednesday, Saturday now because in the beginning we had about 3 or 4 games per week, so it wasn't much of a turnaround. But the kids did a really nice job of just being prepared, paying attention in film, and really just doing what they were supposed to do out on the court.
She really covered it all. I mean, that's really what we do. I think it's nice because it's a team effort. No job too big or too small for anybody. So everyone kind of puts their hands in and watches film, and we kind of see, I think from 3 different perspectives, what we believe is the strengths of the other team and what we need to do to defend, and just kind of put together a game plan and go from there.
Now, how about once the whistle goes and they toss the ball up on the Wednesdays and Saturdays on the bench? I mean, obviously we see Coach Strom going up and down the sideline, but during the game, what are some of your responsibilities?
Well, during the game, I keep track of offense, defense, plays called, if you score, just different things like that. Seeing what's working on the offensive end, what's working on the defensive end, turnovers, kills, different things, just to see really what is working and what we need to stick with, what we need to change. I'm up, down, everywhere. I'm a little bit, she's always calm. She's the calm, cool, collective one, walking up and down the sideline. And, usually you see us two on the bench. We're a little bit more vocal, and it's hard to stay in the seat. But, we all bring a different personality to the team, and we're all very different. So, and somehow the 3 personalities just mesh. So it's we have a good time though. It's
Tell
fun.
the people what kills are, because when you say kills, I think sometimes that might be a little interesting word to use. A kill for us is three different.
She's going to tell you.
Three stops defensively, and so that's considered one kill. So if we get 3 consecutive stops, that's one kill, and something that we base a lot of our defense off of, and important to us as a team on what we do.
So when you hear us screaming "kill," if you
Okay.
say kill,
Don't
kill,
call
kill,
public
kill.
safety.
That just means get a stop.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a lot on your stat sheets, because if you look at the numbers this year, defense is, always been a staple of the team, but it seems like there's stretches, doing the game on radio and on TV last couple games that, I'm not changing the scoreboard for the other team very much at all.
Well, here's the great thing. When I can't keep up with the stats because we're stealing and scoring, that's a good thing. So that's what we like to do.
Yeah, and that's what we're known for, I think, defensively, with what we take pride in as a program. It's kind of, ever since I came here as well. And that was Jess, I think, her whole career is, defense wins games for us, and it's really nice. Like Kelly said, when we can get transition points, that's when we're at our best. Steals and scores, something that we really enjoy to see, and I think something that lifts us to the next level.
And definitely, like I said, if you get a chance, go on the calvalcans.com site and look at the stats, because the offensive defensive stats for this team this year is just unbelievable. And that's a testament to all the hard work that the staff and everybody does in practice. But we have about another minute or two with both of you before we bring Coach Strom on. Enough basketball talk. Have some fun stuff. On the rare days off both of you have, what do you like to do?
Go ahead,
What do we?
Anything, yeah.
Well, we watch film, and then if we're not together, we'll text each other and talk about the film. And really, it's just this is the part of the season where you don't really have time to do anything else. You're just focusing on your next opponent, because we always say the last 10 games of the season are crucial, and that's what they look at in the NCAA rankings, and you always want to finish strong. So right now, it's really just focused on what we're doing good, and different things that we need to do to get ready for the next game.
How about you? Same thing, same answer?
Yeah, it's basketball, but I enjoy spending my time on Netflix and some FaceTime, and when we do have a day to kind of just relax for a minute, hit the couch, and really just hang out, watch TV, cook a meal, and just kind of enjoy the people that you don't get to see during basketball season. Take a nap.
Well, maybe on a Sunday.
With the Netflix, are you in the camp that you're going to watch one series from beginning to end, or do you scatter around? Because I go back and forth.
See, it all depends on how I think about the series. I might kind of go around, but I'm like a documentary lover. Okay. I watch the most odd things. Sometimes after I finish something, I'm like, why did I watch that? But I end up liking it. But different series, I'm a binge watcher. I can watch a series in a day. And that's kind of what I like to do.
I highly recommend. Public service announcement, Black Mirror, which is insane. Yeah, I watched the entire first season the other day. I didn't sleep because it's kind of crazy, so maybe not tonight before the Slippery Rock game, but maybe Thursday night, but I highly recommend
it. I'm telling you what, I'm on HBO Go, and our players have been talking about Game of Thrones, and I'm just getting ready to start that. So I'm pretty excited. Our players keep talking about it, so I'm all for it.
Well, there's some great tips, basketball and otherwise, from the coaching staff, and thanks a lot. And after this commercial break, we'll bring on head coach Jess Strom, and we'll look back at Clarion, Edinboro, and the road ahead. You're watching the Jess Strom Show right here on CUTV. And welcome back to the Jess Strom Show. I'm Gary Smith, I'm your host, and we're going to bring on Coach Jess Strom to her show. And she's very happy because, I think your assistant coaches did well. You didn't throw anything at them. It was a nice visit with them.
Yeah, it is. It's funny, though, because they are so serious when they're up here, but they're not really like that. typically on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I was trying to listen off camera just to hear if there was anything I should follow up on from you, like from cues or any questions, but I didn't hear anything, so we'll just move on. So you can get them at practice tomorrow or Thursday. But Coach, obviously you're smiling. Another week in the books and another 2 wins. And as we always do, we're going to look back at the last 2 games. And I know it seems like a week ago because it was a week ago, but Clarion comes in to the Convocation Center last Wednesday. First game back with the students. So it was nice to see, some bodies in the seats for once. But, Clarion's a team that, they've been on the verge of making a move in the PSAC, and that was a hard-fought game on Wednesday.
Yeah, they've beat some good teams. So, Clarion always gives us a good game. We talked about it last week on the show. But we just came out, I think, from the tip, just defended them. They just really couldn't handle our pressure. So I think when you take teams away early, they kind of get nervous. And I don't remember how many turnovers they had, but they had a ton of turnovers that led to easy points for us. And that's exactly what we like to do. So I think that game does seem like a long time ago now. But I think we took them out of what they wanted to do very, very early in the game, which was good for us.
And we'll refresh our memories with some highlights from last Wednesday. And Coach, like you said, defense led to offense. And, your assistant said you always like to get some kills. And I wasn't joking. It seemed like there was a long period of time where that left score was not going up.
Yeah, I think there's stretches in every game that you see that we do a good job defending. I wish those stretches would be more than they are, but there's always offensive highlights, but defense is actually what wins us most games that we do well at.
There's one right there. When I was editing, I'm like, I've got to get some defense highlights in here.
And that's our typical. It's so much easier to score in transition, get some easy layups, rather than set up in a half court and actually have to play half court offense.
We talked a little bit about last week with your defense. I mean, every person that you have on your team, if they're getting a steal, they're looking up ready to run and gun instead of just looking for someone to bring it up, but you're looking to just get up and down as quick as possible.
Yeah, it's nice because we have multiple people that can bring the ball up the court and that can run. Our post players can run better than most. So it's nice that we get a steal. We're usually down the other end pretty quickly.
We see here, this is still from the first half, but, just really having your way with Clarion. And Clarion has not played well here for about 20 years, but it's nice to see it continue.
Yeah, and they typically play well at home. They're a team that plays much better at home, but they're a scary team. Like we were talking about, those middle of the pack teams that they're playing for a playoff spot every single day. So, it's just, you're going to get their best.
With another defense right there, and it seems like not only that everybody in your team can get up and down the floor, but everyone can trap. I mean, you never know who's going to trap in any possession.
Well, we know, but yeah, you don't know.
I hope you guys know.
Yeah, well, I think that's by design. We like our post players that can move, that can slide their feet, because we switch so much that they have to be able to defend guards. So, they do a good job. Shatera, Sierra, even you saw Precious there. They move as well as guards move, so it works out well for us.
Once again, we have Mickey Glenn going to the hoop, and in that game, you see a lot of your players just going to the hoop, although this is a big play right here. Sierra Barrett gets her 1,000th career point.
Yeah, finally. I think the whole game she was waiting for that point. But it's nice to get it, especially as a junior. It's a great accomplishment, but I'm glad that she got it, and now she can focus on other things besides getting that. Yeah,
it was funny because our TV truck was in the shop, so we see a nice transition right here. So, we were on the ledge directing and producing this game, and, when it was getting close, we knew how many she needed, but it seemed like every time she touched the ball, you see 72, 38, that's amazing to keep a team under 40. The bench was getting into it, and
yeah,
finally.
She definitely knew when, because Shatera was on the bench screaming the whole entire time. But a game like that's nice, too, because our starters didn't play the whole fourth quarter. So it was nice to get some people that don't play as much some time in live game. And
after that game, a big win, no rest for the weary, because Saturday, get a chance for revenge, because Edinboro coming in to the Convocation Center about a month after you guys went up there and suffered your only loss. What was the 2 days leading up to that game like, practice and preparation-wise?
I think typical, just getting ready. Obviously, we knew that Edinboro's the only team that beat us this year. But bigger than that, I think, we always look towards the end of the season. So this is a huge game for us for the PSAC. This is a huge game for us in the region. So, I just felt like we needed to be prepared like we're always prepared, knowing that Edinboro is going to show up and be physical and be tough. I think they're one of the tougher teams in the PSAC, I think, similar to us. It was chippy. There was a lot of talk going on, but kind of what we expected to see.
What always seems like, at least the past several years between California and Edinboro, you can't typically say that a game's going to be a high-scoring affair or a defensive affair because it seems like each game has a different flavor to it.
Yeah, it's almost like a defensive battle, and you're just waiting for one team to explode. That's what usually happens. But I think both teams this year are pretty good defensively. They're a good team. They have a point guard that's really good. They have a big that's pretty good. So I think they match up well against us. So I think if we see them again, it's going to be the same. I think it will be a close game.
Well, we'll definitely see them right now as we'll look at the highlights from Saturday. First Saturday home game with the students back, and I thought it was a pretty good crowd, very active. And you see right here, defense leading the offense right in the first 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, and I think our first quarter was one of our better first quarters. I think we got out and we were diving on loose balls and we were getting our hands on everything, like you see right there, which against a team like Edinboro is so important because their half-court defense is good. Yeah, I mean, they make it tough for you to score. They have a big, and they are aggressive, and they'll pressure you. So anytime we can get points off of our defense, especially against a good defensive team, is important. You see Mickey was fired up there after that shot.
It was a game of runs, too. It seemed like, your team got out, and then they came on for a run, and then you made a run, and then...
Yeah, and I think against good teams, that's going to happen. You kind of expect that, we got down going into halftime, and you could hang your head, but I knew Edinboro was going to make a run. They're a good team. They're going to score points. So we kind of just had to keep our heads about us and focus on what we can control and come out. And I think in the second half, we came out and really, I think we went on a 13-0 run or something. We turned that deficit into being 6 up. So, like I said, they're a good team. We'll probably see them again somewhere down the road. But lucky to come away with a win on that one.
We'll see, we're moving to the second half right here. And Sarah Parsons had a shot that you don't normally see her take, but a little jumper. But she had a great game on the offensive and defensive boards.
Yeah, we've been talking to her a lot about doing things that she's good at. Instead of taking so many of those outside shots and doing things out of her character, she can offensive rebound like crazy against most teams, get to the rim, and she finishes, and she moves her body in a way and like slithers in there and can make layups. So I think she really focused on that in the second half. And there you see Emily Suckley making a big shot for us. And in the Clarion game, she played well too. So she's having some nice minutes. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there, getting to the rim from Shatera and finishing. So hopefully she learns from this. Like, that's how she can score her points. We're much better going to the rim than shooting outside shots.
And every game on the road, when she takes those steps, you always hear the other fans say she's traveling, but she just has those long strides.
Sometimes it is a travel, and some officials will call it, but yeah, sometimes it's not.
And we see here down the stretch, taking it to the hole, and then just keeping Edinboro on arm's length, but also good job of closing that game out with some foul shots at the end because it was within a possession or two in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, and Mickey had been missing some free throws leading up to that game, and I think she went 13 for 13 from the line. So huge free throws, and I think you have to do that late in games, especially during the stretch that we're coming up on towards the end of the season, playoff time. You got to make your free throws.
And Edinboro was the first game of the second half of the PSAC West season. With that, we'll take a look at the PSAC West standings. You see the asterisk next to California is...
Yeah, we made the playoffs.
Made the playoffs, clinched, which is always weird to see this early, but that's what happens when you're playing, it seems like 90% of conference games, but, a top 4 teams that are, that's probably the toughest top 4 teams of any conference in Division II.
Yeah, I agree, and when it comes down to playoff time, only 2 of us are going to make it to the PSAC Final Four, which I think is a shame. But, again, we talk about that every year, changing the format and getting the best teams there. But on any given day, any of those teams can win. You see Slippery Rock down there just beat Edinboro, and Clarion beat IUP. So it's going to be fun to watch these last seven games of the season.
And let's take a look over the PSAC East because this year it's very important as the East will host the PSAC Final Four, and Shippensburg is in control, a few game lead over Westchester, but like you just said, any team could beat any team.
Yeah, you never know. Ship started off bad early in the season. They were losing games. I think they're on an 11-game win streak now, something like that. So, they're actually coming together, which we thought at the beginning of the season. They have 5 seniors that have played together. So, they're a good team, but Westchester's a good team. East Stroudsburg is a good team. And then any of those teams, just like our side, I think can win on any day.
Well, this is the best time of the year because, as I just mentioned, it's, the second half of the PSAC divisional play, and that means we're into February, and that means right after March. So it's crunch time right now, and the next game on your schedule is tomorrow night at Slippery Rock, and it seems like it's an opponent we just saw because we just did a week and a half ago at Slippery Rock. I know they're having a big whiteout promotion and some other things. What's it like going on the road up at Slippery Rock?
It's another place that's difficult to play, but I think that's anywhere in the PSAC. Last time we played them, they didn't have their best player, so we'll see if she's playing tomorrow or not. But again, a team that can catch you if you're not ready. So, you just have to be ready. I think preparation for Slippery Rock was a little different because we did just see them. So hopefully we know what they're going to do. We know what to expect. But you got to show up. Every team wants to beat us. And Slippery Rock's playing for a playoff spot, so this would be a huge win for them.
Now, how much, and I asked Coach McBride earlier in his show, but at this point of the year, how much can a team change to try and catch somebody off guard in 2.5 weeks? Or is it just basically they're going to do what they do and see what happens?
Yeah, I think maybe you can tweak a thing here and there, but you're not going to change your whole style. I think it's very, very difficult. Like for us, it would be hard to put something completely new in. We do what we do and think that we can beat you doing that. So I don't think they're going to change that much. And obviously we have film on every game they play. So we have their last game. We have the game before that. So not just the time we played them, but we kind of know what to expect going up there. And
once again, that's tomorrow night at Slippery Rock, 5:30. If you can't make the trip, you can listen to it live on 91.9 FM, WCIO, or go to calvalkins.com and click the video link. CUTV will have live video, provided the 4G network is very good at Slippery Rock, which we're still testing this out around the PSAC, and so far so good. So we'll knock on the wood right here. That'll be fine tomorrow. But you see there the schedule coming up ahead. Nothing this Saturday, which is great. Then Gannon at Seton Hill and Pitt Johnstown. But Coach, after this game, probably seems weird to have no game on a Saturday.
I think it is perfect timing for us, though. I think we're a little bit beat up right now, and I think we need some rest. It's tough. We practice really, really hard. So even on practice days, they're getting beat up. So I think this break is perfect for us. We need some rest. We need to get our legs back together. And then you're back at it next Wednesday. So I think this week will do us good. And
it has been a grind ever since the Christmas break ended, because I know that was an extended break. But then, at Edinburgh, at Gannon, at Westchester, 3 games in the week, and then Wednesday, Saturday. So that's going to be great. Any plans to give any days off, or is it just kind of wait and see? Or
we can't ever tell days off.
Fair enough.
Yes, we plan on some. I just don't know when yet.
Sounds good. And then we have the NCAA Top 10 as we talked. This is from last week, and unfortunately when we shoot this show, it'll probably be updated about an hour after we're done, as we shoot this on Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But last week, 5th in the country, and we all know Virginia Union lost.
Yeah, last week we were 5. I'm thinking we might move up. We might not. We might stay right around there. But Virginia Union did lose. That's huge for us regionally. So if we take care of ourselves, we should put ourselves in a good position to hopefully think about hosting the region.
And the regional ranking should come out in another week or 2, I would think.
Yeah, I think a couple weeks.
Okay.
So we'll be waiting.
Always stay tuned to calvalkins.com for everything related to standings, rankings, and all that fun stuff. Matt Keifer and his staff do a great job. And Coach, we have another minute or 2 before we're done. As we mentioned, off weekend, and just so happens, whoever does the scheduling scheduled on Super Bowl weekend, which is amazing. So they get 10 stars for that. And I asked Coach McBride this before. Who are you pulling for?
The Steelers.
Okay, obviously, and they got cheated last week, obviously, against the Patriots.
That's it.
Okay.
Just the Steelers.
Now, if you had to pick between the Falcons and the Patriots, who would you pick?
I guess I'd pick the Patriots.
All right. That's not just because there's a Patriots fan in the room and she can throw a chair.
No, because you want to lose. You would want the team you lost to win, I guess.
Yeah, I'm personally going back and forth. I don't. The same argument. I don't want to pull for the Patriots, but they are the best. But on the other hand, I remember the Dirty Bird dance, and it's one of only 3 dances I know. So
you should probably do it.
Not right now. If the Falcons win, I'll do the Dirty Bird next week to
Okay,
end the show.
next week.
We're gonna have to edit this out. But Coach, good luck up at Slippery Rock. And like I said, if you can't make the trip up to Slippery Rock, stay tuned to 91.9 FM for live coverage, or click on the calvulcans.com watch live link for CUTV. So you've been watching the Jess Strom Show right here on CUTV.